All right, we're getting ready to start. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Terrell Talk. I'm Donna Terrell. The general election is coming up, and with COVID, many people are concerned about voting in person. Governor Asa Hutchinson said COVID is a valid reason to absentee vote. I said vote. I'm sorry. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Terrell Talk. I'm Donna Terrell. The general election is coming up, and with COVID, many people are concerned about voting in person. Governor Asa Hutchinson said COVID is a valid reason to absentee vote. But now there are questions if the mail-in vote will make it to the ballot box via U.S. mail in time to be counted. Joining me via Skype is Pulaski County Circuit and County Clerk Terry Hollingsworth, who is here to answer some of your questions. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Donna. Thank you so much for inviting me today.
Oh, I'm so glad you were able to join us. You are expecting far more absentee ballots this year than normal. How many more, and have they already started pouring in?
So certainly they have already started pouring in, Donna. We are over 8,000 absentee ballot applications right now, and we only sent out about 8,000 in 2016. So just to give you another measure, in 2016, in August of 2016, we had 1,500 requests for absentee ballots, and now we're well over 8,000 at this point. So we're expecting about 20,000 once November gets here.
Will your office be able to handle them?
You know what, Donna? Yes, we are. We're going to make this work. You know, if you ever heard of Black Girl Magic, it's going to happen here.
Okay. Well,
But definitely, that's the reason why we're also asking all voters, if that's the way that you want to vote, we need them to ask for that application now and to submit their applications now, because we want to make sure that we can fulfill everybody's request and make sure that we don't disenfranchise anyone.
Okay. I want to talk more about absentee ballots in just a moment, but what I want to do right now, Terry, is run down some of the important dates that people should know. I believe we have a graphic, and it's on the screen right now. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Sure. We want all voters to know that October 5th is the last day that we can register new voters. And if there are some 17-year-olds who will be 18 by November 3rd, we want them to certainly make sure that they get registered now, because once they turn 18, we'll certainly send out their voter registration card. The first day of early voting is October 19th. October 27th is the last day for anyone to request an absentee ballot. Again, we want them to ask for those now. And then October 30th is the last day for anyone to update their address. And if they move within the county or from another county to this county, that's the last day to change that particular address. And then November 2nd is the last day of early voting. And then, of course, November 3rd is our election day.
Okay. For people who are not registered to vote, can you just go online and fill out a voter registration application? And if so, walk us through that. I think we have, there's an application right there. Walk us through this.
So, Donna, that's a very good question, but you cannot fill out a voter registration application online because Arkansas does not have electronic voter registration. What you have to do is get a form from the clerk's office or the Secretary of State's office, and then you can fill out that form and mail it in, or just leave it with that particular office where you're filling it out, and then we'll get you registered. Now, the absentee ballot application is certainly online, and then in Pulaski County, we actually have it as a fillable form, and they can download that form once they fill in all the information, but we have to have their signature. And then they can, if they actually have the tools at home, they can, I was about to say copy it, but that's not the right word. They can scan it and send it back to us via email, or they can put it in the mail, or they can drop it by the courthouse if they like. But certainly, they can call our office to request that absentee ballot application, and we'll make sure they get it. So would you like for me to walk through this absentee ballot application?
Yes,
Or
please do. We're going to put it back on the screen. We had it up while you were talking, but yeah, walk us through this because I see you have some highlighted areas.
Sure, the highlighted areas are areas of certainly of concern because people have been asking, how do they fill out this form? And the first line is, I will be unavoidably absent from my polling site on election day. And you mentioned earlier in the broadcast where the governor has said that COVID is certainly a reason for folks to vote absentee. And so they should check that first box where it says, I will be unavoidably absent from my polling site. And then the next box says, I reside. So you say you reside within the county of which you have voted. So that would be this county. That would be that first line. They need to check that box. And then when it goes down to, I request the appropriate absentee ballots for the following elections. The only election we have left is the general election, nonpartisan runoff, and general election runoff. So that's November 3rd's election.
Okay.
And the next highlighted part is, of course, where it says mail, where you want, your ballot to be received. And that's usually where those three lines, that's usually where the college student would put that information, or if a voter is going to be someplace else, then they can do that. And the voter might be someplace else if they are, say they are working in Germany, but they're still a resident of Arkansas, then they would put that actual mailing address. Other than that, they would actually go down the page, print their name, and put their voting residence, and then the ballot would definitely be mailed to their home.
Okay. When will you start mailing out the absentee ballots for people who have gone through those steps that you just described?
We will start mailing out the absentee ballots on or about September 17th.
On or about September 17th. So
Yes.
that's going to be put out there in the mail. Someone should be receiving them sometime mid-September. When should they get them back to you? When should they put those ballots in the mail so that they can actually be counted?
Because of the concerns about the mail, we are asking voters, once they receive these ballots, that they go ahead and vote those ballots immediately and put them in the mail as soon as possible. Don't hang on to them. So obviously, if we send it out September 17th, 18th, they'll get it in September, and then they, have some time to vote. But we really would like for them to, as soon as they get it, go ahead and vote their ballot and send it in.
And the thing is, though, a lot of people will still be filling out the application, even in mid-September and beyond. So those are the folks, as they get closer to the November election, they need to hurry up and get them in.
Yes, and that's the scary part because, Donna, usually the clerk's office only budgets for about 8,000 or 9,000 absentee ballots. Right now, we're scheduled to get about 20,000. But our county judge has certainly assured me that we're going to make sure that we're able to print the ballots, and pay for the postage that we need to do to get these out. So we're going to make sure that every voter gets the absentee ballot that has requested it.
Well, let me just ask you this question. What if you're afraid to put them in the mail because you don't think that they will get there in time? And I think you alluded to this a little bit earlier. Is there another option for an absentee ballot other than the mail?
Great question. Yes, ma'am, there is. Every voter always has the right to drop or return the ballot to the clerk's office. And I'll tell you that our office is developing a plan so that maybe we can have a drive-through return service either here at the courthouse or maybe something off-site, but we'll have more details about that as we get closer to October. But right now, any voter has the right to return their ballot to the clerk's office.
Okay. Let's just say you requested an absentee ballot, and I'm asking this question because this is something that I would do. Request an absentee ballot, and then all of a sudden you change your mind. It's like, oh no, I think I'm just going to go early vote. Can you do that?
Yes, but so that's a great question, Donna, and most people have been asking that question. So when you do that, then once you go to early vote, if you've requested an absentee ballot and then you go to early vote, then you're going to have to vote a provisional ballot once you get to that particular polling site.
Provisional ballot basically means that if you already voted in that absentee ballot, then that provisional ballot will not count.
Right, and it also means that because you're voting provisionally, they're going to put those to the side to be done at the very last, as they do the research to determine if you have sent in your absentee ballot. Okay?
Okay, that makes sense. So those are one of
Okay.
the last ones to be counted.
Yes,
Polling
ma'am.
places, let's switch gears a little bit and we're going to wrap up here. But polling places,
Sure.
how are you protecting people against the spread of COVID?
Well, the Secretary of State's office has delivered to our office, or actually to the Election Commission, certainly mask, hand sanitizer. We have all the PPE, gloves, and we're going to actually have stylists that each voter is going to be able to take with them, because they'll use that on the machine, and it actually says, "I voted," which is a great souvenir for them. But we'll be cleaning and disinfecting between rounds as well. So, and the machines will be social distance. So we're just trying to make sure that everybody can not only vote, but they can vote safely.
What about poll workers? Oftentimes they're older people and, they're most at risk of getting COVID. Are you finding younger people who are interested in
We
being...
are on the search. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Donna.
It's okay, it's okay.
We are on the search for younger people, certainly. Our average age poll worker is 73 years old. And so we have found a few of those persons who decided that they will not be poll workers this year, but we still have quite a few. And we have about a 200, I think, applications right now of folks who want to be poll workers. And if anybody out there is wanting to be a poll worker, they should go to votepulaski.net. I'm sorry,
www.votepulaski.net. Okay.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes, and we're certainly looking for poll workers. It'll be great to have anybody who's interested in doing that.
We'll put the word out. Are there any surprises in terms of location changes? Anything that voters need to know about their polling place?
So there are no surprises right now. We do have a few locations that have said that they will not be utilizing or being a polling site this time, but our libraries are stepping up, so we'll have some alternatives. And that's what we're doing right now. We're looking at alternatives, but right now we're going to have 12 early voting sites throughout the county, and then we'll still have all our regular polling places, except for maybe 4 or 5 may have changed, but we'll let you know more about that once we get confirmation toward early voting time.
I was going to say, you'll put the message out about that. Anything
Yes.
I'm missing? I think we've been quite thorough in terms of covering everything. Anything you want to add, Terry?
No, I just want to make sure that your voters know that there are 3 ways to vote in Arkansas. Of course, there's the absentee voting, and we're asking folks to make sure that they request those absentee ballot now. Of course, you can early vote, and anybody who's going to Kroger or going to work, maybe they should consider that and leave the absentee process to those persons with those pre-existing conditions. And then, of course, you have Election Day, and that's November 3rd. So we want folks to be able to know that they have all kinds of ways to vote, and to make sure that we may not have all the results at 10 or 12 o'clock like we used to do on a regular day. We're in unprecedented times. So be prepared, be patient, and make a plan for voting day.
Make a plan for voting day. All right.
Yes.
Terry Hollingsworth, Pulaski County Clerk, thank you so much for joining us for Terrell Talk.
Well, thank you so much, Donna. It was a pleasure.
All right. And I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Terrell Talk. I'm Donna Terrell. I'll see you next time.